If you're like me, you probably do a lot of thinking. Probably do too much thinking. We give far too many F's about what people think of us, what we're doing with our life, about the interaction we had with the barista this morning, or what's going to happen tomorrow. And beneath giving too many fucks is wanting to be right, not wanting to be wrong. And if we unpack that, the things that we worry about, because when we're giving too many fucks, it's because we're worrying about something. Before I came to record this video, I was worrying about if I was going to say the right thing. I was worried about if people are going to be walking around. I was worried about if people were going to watch the video when I upload it. I was worrying about the fact that it's probably a bit late in the day to be having caffeine. But that's all only a problem if I perceive it as so. All of that's wrong if I decide that the opposite is right. Whenever we get angry at someone, it's because we think we're right and that they're wrong. So if we can remove this sense of what is right and what is wrong, it's probably going to help us care less about things. And I don't mean care less in a negative way. I think if most people in the world cared less about things, the world would be a better place. We'd at least be happier and interact more amicably. You know, there's a great freedom in being wrong. Because when you're wrong, you don't have to be right anymore. And there's no queue. Like the queue for being right, it's a big queue, lots of people in it. You may never get to the top of that queue. But the queue for being wrong, not many people aiming to be wrong. So if you hop in that queue, maybe life gets a bit easier. Let's explain that. I found a lot of freedom and a lot of personal growth came in my life when I decided to embrace the possibility, and sometimes even the fact, that I am wrong. In so many scenarios, I am wrong. And it doesn't make me a bad person because I'm wrong. It's through making mistakes and errors that we mature, that we cultivate wisdom. And when you're willing to be wrong, you just have less drama in your life, because drama only comes as a result of trying to be right. You can be friends with someone and you can have a discussion and it can get heated. And then you can walk away from that still friends if you're willing to be wrong. Because if it's heated, chances are someone's wrong, or at least someone is going to be perceived as wrong. And if you can just own that and consider the possibility that you are wrong, and thank the other person for educating you. There's going to be nuance to that, and I'm sure each situation is going to vary, but ask yourself that next time things are getting a bit hot and spicy. Like, could I be wrong? And it's hard to admit that we're wrong because, well, we judge it. It's not good to be wrong. It might not be good to be wrong, but it's a hell of a lot more freeing to be wrong. And I don't know about you, but being right hasn't made my life better. It makes it better in the moment for the ego. It's a great ego trip. And then moments pass and you're back to your usual self. And I love reflecting upon times where I was trying to be right and humbling myself, I suppose, by realizing that I was hindering my progress by trying to be right. Isn't that hard to imagine? That being right is actually slowing down one's growth? There was a video that Captain Sinbad made a few years ago, and he was talking about how you shouldn't leave your hometown. And as someone that had done quite a bit of traveling, I saw the benefits of leaving my hometown. And so I went and I left a comment, arguing effectively, amicably, because I like Captain Sinbad, he's a good guy. But at the time, I was like, oh, but you had to go away and leave your hometown in order to realize that leaving your hometown wasn't the answer. And funnily enough, a few years later, or maybe a year later, I made a video called How Traveling Ruined My Life. And I was basically taking the same angle that he had made, with a bit of a twist, I suppose. And if you look at that video, a lot of the comments are basically saying what I said to him. And it's really funny because they're right. And I am wrong in a sense. I did have to go away in order to learn the lesson that I learned, which is in that video if you care to watch it. But it's okay to be wrong, because there's a much bigger picture at play, especially when we're looking at the context of content creation and YouTube and storytelling. You know, I'm telling a story. I can't have every single answer and potential objection handled within the piece of content or like in a social media post. Sometimes you just gotta shoot your best shot and realize that no matter how good that shot was, it's gonna miss for some people. Some people are gonna be arguing in the comments like I was, and some people are gonna appreciate you deeply. And when you realize that both of those options are okay, and neither of them are necessary, you just start giving less of a fuck, because it's not in your control. None of this is. Any argument is just an attempt to make it seem as if it is in our control, but you ultimately find out that it's not. We don't really know what we're doing. There's been periods where I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought I knew I was right, writing that in the comment, but then I realized, oh, actually, if I make a video like this, it will help a lot of people. It'll earn me some revenue. It'll get some eyes on me and the ideas that I have to share. And yeah, I am kind of wrong in some ways, but I'm right in other ways. And that's fine. That's natural. Not giving a fuck is embracing being wrong, and it's embracing being right. It's recognizing your responsibility in the situations that you find yourself in. Maybe you don't like the situations you're in. Maybe it's not all your fault. But the fact that you're in the situation means that there is something you did to put yourself there. And just acknowledge that and see, okay, how can I potentially avoid this in future? And maybe it happens again and again and again. And that's how many times it takes you to learn your lesson. And that's fine. You're not a bad person for learning. It's a bitter pill to swallow, because we realize how powerful we are. When we choose to stop giving a fuck, we're basically saying, I can create the experiences that I want. I can create the reality I want. It's going to be challenging. I'm going to butt heads with people, but I can do it. And I don't need other people to approve of it, because even if they do, there's always going to be someone else that does not. So acknowledge your role. I have a video, it's called The Reason People Don't Like You. And in that video I say, people not liking you is nothing to do with you. And a lot of people have pointed out that sometimes it does have something to do with you. Sometimes if someone doesn't like me, it is because of something I've done. Maybe I haven't been kind, maybe I haven't been honest, maybe I've overlooked something. Does that make me a bad person? Not necessarily. You can have great intentions and still upset people. But the beauty of life and a healthy relationship is you can address those things and navigate those things together with the people that you're relating to. And to all of those people saying sometimes it is your responsibility in the comments of that video, I agree. I was wrong. I left out a lot of points that could have been made in the video. And I don't really give a fuck, because what I put in there, I meant well, and in a sense, this video is a follow-up from it. You can't expect yourself to get everything right all of the time. You can't expect people to perceive you as right all of the time. As Mark Manson says in his book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, you just gotta choose your favorite flavor of shit sandwich, because life is going to suck at points, no matter how you arrange it. The loftiest dream that you have, you could achieve it, only to find yourself in discomfort, feeling frustrated. And that's not a sign that you've done something wrong. It's just a sign that you're here on the planet experiencing what every other human experiences. I think for a lot of people, the fact that we care so much is also just preventing us from expanding and evolving into our highest potential. When you care too much about what people think, you don't do things for fear of what they'll think. And this is something a lot of our creative people, entrepreneurs come up against, because they want to do something but they're afraid of it not being received well. Well, it's probably not going to be received well, especially in the early days. And even when you're absolutely killing it and you're going to Mars, people are still going to hate you. I could have not recorded this video for fear that I would say the wrong things or that I would be judged. But that's going to happen anyway. And I'm probably going to positively impact a few people by sitting down here and making the video. So I'll take it. And if you're thinking about starting stuff, start it. Stop caring so much about the outcome. You can't control it. Just follow your inspiration and see what happens. But you have to take action, and you have to be willing to be wrong. You might be right in the process. You'll most likely be both. I offer one-on-one mentorship for creatives and entrepreneurs. There's a link in the description. You can book a free discovery chat with me there. And we can see if maybe we'd be aligned to work together going forward. Other than that, I have a newsletter. There's a link in the description for that. It's free. I share insights. Some people find it helpful. You might be one of those people. Have a great day.